I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ. Airline stocks have been high flying, but now some are getting grounded.
I'm Patricia Wu with the NASDAQ. Americans are expected to spend $7.5 billion on homeopathic remedies by 2017. I'll speak with the CEO of the company that makes Cold-EEZE about how they plan to capitalize on that.
I'm Remy Blair in San Francisco. A biopharma name is blasting through the flat line on trial results, and a deal in medical devices is swaying two stocks in opposite directions.
Hello and welcome to Small Cap Nation. I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ market site in Times Square. Airline stocks have been a good place to be this year, but that rally may be sputtering even in the small cap airlines. Spirit Airlines today beat earnings expectations, but it's the future that has people worried. American and Delta are launching their own versions of no-frills fares like Spirit has. And at least one analyst says the odds are increasing there will be a merger among the small discount carriers, perhaps Spirit and Frontier. AK Steel Holdings said that longtime chief executive James Wainscott will retire as the company swung to a surprise profit. In its third quarter, the shares are down 61% this year through Monday's close, but it did add more than 3% in the pre-market. Wainscott is 58 years old, and he has held the CEO role since October of 2003. He will continue to serve as chairman of the board after his January 1st retirement. Meanwhile, Roger Newport, who's 50 years old, has been tapped to replace him in the top executive role. Newport is currently the company's chief financial officer. Well, Dress Barn shooting for an image upgrade with the fall ad campaign starring farm animals. The new look this season has slick ads shot by the renowned fashion photographer Patrick Demarcheller and also starring supermodel Hillary Rhoda alongside a menagerie of farm animals. The retailer taking a playful approach to its folksy name, Dress Barn, and trying to reshape its image with high fashion in mind. So far, Dress Barn has succeeded in garnering media attention with this campaign, which is good because, as Wagner told Women's Wear Daily, that's the CEO, it has no intention of changing the brand name. Research did find that the name wouldn't stop customers from trying out the brand. Okay, we are in the thick of earnings season and small cap stocks moving again. Here's a rundown. Amcor Technologies net sales beat estimates. Blueprint Medicine's lockup on shares is expiring. Cheesecake Factory saw its comparable sales miss estimates. CTI Biopharma offering convertible stock. Gold Resource has lowered its 2015 production outlook. MicroStrategy's third quarter revenue trailed estimates. Sandridge Energy has reached a partial settlement in an Oklahoma court case. Swift Transportation lowered the upper end of its adjusted range. And Peabody Energy still suffering from a weak coal market with another quarterly loss. Well, Grubhub said its third quarter earnings rose more than 6% as the online food ordering and delivery companies continuing to attract new diners, and that did lead to growth in orders. However, the company's per share earnings, excluding certain items, missed Wall Street estimates. Grubhub connects home and office diners with more than 35,000 restaurants. The company's average daily orders in the latest quarter were up 22% to 211,000. And finally, Fresh Del Monte can thank avocados for strong profits. Fresh Del Monte Produce said its third quarter earnings rose 43% on stronger revenue driven by sales in the fresh produce business. The Florida company generates a large portion of its sales from bananas, and they did say sales of other fresh produce increased 13%, but it was led by higher sales volume in the fresh cut and the avocado product lines, as well as higher prices for fresh cut products. Avocado revenue climbed 38%. And the fresh cuts segment jumped 32%. That's a look at some of today's small cap big stories. Let's see what's happening at the New York Stock Exchange. Analyst Alan Valdez joins us from the New York Stock Exchange floor. Alan, what are you following today?
Good morning, Jane. How are you? You know, who's leading who here? Is the Russell leading or is the S&P leading? Right now, the S&P is a little bit ahead of us. It's up about a little under 1%, about 0.86 right now for the year to date. The Russell, unfortunately, is down about 3%. So it's really having a tough time right in here. A couple of reasons going on, which are troubling, to be honest with you. Normally with the small cap stocks, they do better domestically. But if you look at the jobs numbers this year, if you look at business spending, which came out today, down a little, it's pretty weak economy we have right here. But on the same token, the big stocks, the S&P 500, which is normally international, it's the bigger stocks, they should be down because of the strong dollar. They're not down. They're up about like I said, just under percent. So the S&P is still trending a little better than the Russell. How's it look going forward? It's anybody's guess. But I think basically it's going to be a tough time for the small caps right in here, only because people get a little weary when the S&P comes in. And if the S&P normally does follow the Russell, so we'll see what happens here. But if in fact this S&P starts to waver a little, you could see capitulation in, of course, the Russell. So we'll have to wait and see. But overall, it's going to be an interesting end of the year, I think. Today, of course, a big earning day here with big cap and small cap stocks coming out. So we'll have to wait and see how this all turns out. But keep an eye on the Russell, see where that goes. Like I said, right now we're down, and will the big cap stocks follow that? That's going to be the play to play. If anything, you might want to get some insurance with some options out there. Thanks, Jane.
Thanks, Alan. Cold and flu season is underway, and the worse it is this year, the better it will be for one company's business. Patricia Wu sits down with the CEO of ProPhase Labs, maker of Cold-EEZE.
Hi, Jane. We'll find out if coughs, sneezes, and sniffles are music to CEO Ted Karkas's ears. First, I want to give you a little bit of background on him. He started on Wall Street. He was a key investor in Cold-EEZE before becoming the CEO of the parent company, ProPhase Labs. And he joins me right now. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ted.
Thank you, Patricia. Thanks for having me.
Now, I want to talk about you being a really hands-on CEO from what I can tell. You appear in TV commercials. Inside every box of Cold-EEZE, there's actually a note from you, "Get well sooner, Ted," and your emails on it. Do people actually write you?
Oh, every day, absolutely. And I personally read and respond to every consumer feedback. We're always trying to make our products better. So it's one of the small things I do. It's kind of a way of giving back to consumers.
Do you think that's one of the reasons why we've seen an improvement with ProPhase Labs? I mean, your earnings are headed in the right direction. You've halved your loss year over year. What else do you attribute this improvement to?
Well, first of all, I came in as the CEO in 2009. I had launched a proxy contest to gain control of the company. So I made the unique transition from Wall Street to Main Street. And it was a heck of an experience for me. But I restructured the company, and Cold-EEZE, back when I first started, wasn't getting the love that it deserved. So I revamped an entirely new marketing program that included TV commercials and you name it, ran the gamut. I worked with a PR firm, social media, we do radio. And I like being on the TV commercials, not just for egotistical reasons, but from a serious point of view. I like consumers to know that there's somebody that really cares about the brand, that stands behind the brand. So I just come out at the end to say that as CEO, I guarantee your satisfaction. And I really do. We'll give our money back to anybody that isn't satisfied, but virtually nobody asks for their money back because it is such a great product.
Now, U.S. retail sales for homeopathic remedies expected to reach $7.5 billion by 2017. How are you going to capitalize on that? What do you see as the earnings and revenue drivers going forward?
All right. So first of all, we have our base Cold-EEZE business. It all started with our lozenges, which are clinically proven to shorten the duration of the common cold by 42%. I know that's a lot of words, but basically the Cleveland Clinic conducted a study. They actually set out to prove the product didn't work, but instead they found that they confirmed the results from an earlier Dartmouth College study. Both studies basically demonstrated that our product shortens the duration of the common cold by 42%. So it all started with the lozenges. Then we decided that there's some consumers out there that don't like lozenges in general. They don't want a medicine that melts in their mouth for 15 or 20 minutes. So we created what we call quick melts, which are a tablet that dissolves in your mouth in 30 or 60 seconds. So we changed the form to bring in new consumers, and then we also provide some products with additional benefits. So all of our zinc-based products shorten your cold, and then some will provide additional benefits. We have a daytime, nighttime, which shortens your cold while giving you a great night's sleep.
Speaking of new products, though, I had read that you guys are exploring outside of this cold and cough category.
Sure.
What are you looking at?
Sure. So first of all, in the category, we're in over 40,000 stores, all your traditional FDM, which means food, drug, and mass. That's your Walgreens and your CVS's, Walmart and Target, and all the large food. And so we want to leverage that distribution. We're already in these stores. We have great relationships with the retailers. We've been developing a new line of men's dietary health supplements, which we're planning on launching in the next few months. We're starting with the first product, which I'm actually kind of excited about because I think it's going to sell well. It's a men's sex libido product. We say it's for better sex. I know it's an embarrassing thing to talk about sex, But I've gotten so used to talking about it because I've now been working on this product for quite some time. And the funny thing is, this is something that most people are interested in, and I think that it's going to sell well.
The FDA, they used to look the other way, but now because this industry is growing so much, you guys might be coming under a lot more scrutiny. What is that going to mean for you and for the industry as a whole?
Right. So that's a great question. It's definitely timely and current, and the FDA is looking much more closely into the homeopathic industry. Our product, though, while homeopathic products in general rely on something called HPUS, HPUS, which stands for the Homeopathic Pharmacopoeia of the United States, HPUS monographs active ingredients. And what that means is if your product has just homeopathic active ingredients in it, you can put that product on the shelf and make the claims associated with those ingredients. We don't just rely on HPUS. We've gone forward and done our own clinical studies to prove the efficacy of our products. So in our case, even if there was more government scrutiny, it really wouldn't affect us because we have strong clinical science that backs our products. Our Cold-EEZE product works by releasing zinc ions in your mouth, which are absorbed by your upper respiratory tract and block the cold virus from replicating. That's the scientific theory behind our product. So our product really works. So the truth of the matter is, even if the FDA got more involved, I don't think it's going to change very much.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your insight. Thanks for joining us today.
And thank you so much for having me.
Straight ahead, we take you to San Francisco for a big merger in the biotech space. Remy Blair has the story when Small Cap Nation returns.
Guys, I got the jerseys. El Nino. Aquí. Spray Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Don Ovan.
Think that's me?
You guy. It's $40. Can you cover that?
I'll send it to you right now. Done.
Okay, got it. So Hat Trick Rick, he's the best player on our team. You get the ball, you give it to him.
Great. Rick.
On your phone, online, on the go, Wells Fargo makes it easy to get banking done.
All right, Don, you're on. Nope, just kidding.
Doug, you've been staring at that for a while, huh? Listen, TD Ameritrade has former floor traders to help walk you through that complex trade, so you'll be confident enough to do what you want. I'll pull up your number. Blammo. Let's get those guys on the horn. Ooh. Looks like it is time to upgrade your phone, Douglas.
For all the confidence you need, TD Ameritrade. You got this.
Let's go, Serena. Fight, fight. Come on, fight. Can't stop me now. Come on, Serena. Can't stop me now. You don't want me. Can't mess with this. Back to the top. Here we go. You don't want me. 4, 5, 6. Whoa, stop. Let's go back. 1, 2. Whoa, we're gonna stop there. I bet we can do it even better.
It took tennis legend Serena Williams, fencing champion Tim Morehouse, and the world-famous Rockettes years to master their craft. But it took them only moments to master paying bills at Chase.com, depositing checks at Chase ATMs, and transferring funds on the mobile app. Technology designed for you, so you can easily master the way you bank.
Earnings are being closely watched across all sectors. What's behind the most active names in healthcare today?
Hi Jane, we're keeping an eye on earnings on this side of the country, but double-digit percentage pops are also on my radar. TriVascular Technology is rallying today. Endologics agreed to acquire the medical device company for $211 million in stock and cash. Shares of TriVascular are soaring by over 60%, but have eased off session highs. Meanwhile, we're seeing Endologics trade lower by 25% on the session. The market cap of TriVascular stands at about $171.5 million, and Endologics has a market cap of $698 million.
So far this week, we've seen several M&A deals. What does the deal between Endologics and TriVascular Tech mean for the sector?
Well, it's all about the combined product offerings that this merger brings to the table. TriVascular develops and commercializes technologies to treat AAA, otherwise known as abdominal aortic aneurysms. The medical device company focuses on minimally invasive treatments. TriVascular is based in Santa Rosa, California. Separately, the Irvine, California-based Endologics develops and manufactures medical devices to treat aortic disorders. Now, according to the company, the products are built on two platforms: traditional minimally invasive endovascular repair and endovascular sealing. Under the terms of the merger deal, Endologics will acquire all outstanding shares of TriVascular for a combo of cash and stock that are valued at approximately $9.10 a share. And upon completion of the merger, Endologics shareholders will own roughly 84% of the combined company, and TriVascular shareholders will own approximately 16%.
The market reaction to the deal is clear in today's trading action. Any company reaction since the merger announcement?
Well, both companies have emphasized the advantage of its combined product offerings. Endologics also focused on growth in the U.S. as well as overseas in Europe. Company Chairman and CEO John McDermott says the combined company will be uniquely positioned to provide physicians with 3 complementary products to treat a wide range of patient anatomies. Now, these devices, the AFX, Ovation, and Nelix systems, each offer unique clinical advantages and together will offer physicians the ability to choose the best solution for each patient, all provided by one company. Endologics will be led by McDermott, who will become chairman and CEO of the combined company. Endologics' board of directors will be comprised of Endologics' existing board along with one rep from TriVascular's existing board. And separately, in terms of financials, TriVascular reported earnings on Monday. Based on preliminary estimates, U.S. revenue is expected to be $6.5 million, and revenue from international customers is expected to be $3 million. TriVascular plans to release full financial results for Q3 after the market close on Monday, November 9th.
Coming up, stopping slave labor, one of goals with ethical cocoa farming, a good investment that works for the wallet and the soul when Small Cap Nation continues.
Good. Very good. You see something moving off the shelves, and your first thought is to investigate the company. You are Type E. Yes, investment opportunities can be anywhere. Or not. But you know the difference.
E-Trade's barcode scanner. Shorten the distance between intuition and action. E-Trade. Opportunity is...
Before they sat down, one more time, just for themselves. Before the last grandchild graced the stage. Before Katie and her husband hit that rough patch. Before Kevin finally came home and the first grandchild arrived. Before the sons-in-law, daughters-in-law, and Brad's brief brush with the law. Before the second British invasion. Before Katie, Debbie, Kevin, and Brad. Before they became a family. There was a connection that started it all and made the future the wonderful thing it turned out to be. We know we're not the center of your life, but we'll do our best to help you connect to what is.
Sometimes the present looked bright, sometimes romantic. There were tears in my eyes, and tears in my eyes. And so many little things that we learned were really the biggest things. Through it all, we saved and had a retirement plan, and someone who listened and helped us along the way. Because we always knew that someday the future would be the present.
Every someday needs a plan. Talk with us about your retirement today.
Graham, how have the European markets followed up yesterday's movements?
Well, Jane, as you know, the European markets began the week on a mixed note as investors remained jittery ahead of the New York Fed meeting in New York later in the week. As the old joke goes, it's deja vu all over again. European markets have largely held their gains from the end of last week, the exception of London, which was flat anyway. And we appear to be going back to this new norm, flat with volatility. 56% of the Stock 600 members went forward, 41% went backwards. And investors are seeking direction. It seems almost any direction. And it's unlikely that the Fed are going to really produce much, I think, later this week. On the data front, then, the German business confidence and expectations actually beat forecasts. And the Germans appear to have shrugged off the VW scandal and the Deutsche Bank problems and feel in good shape. And at the same time, consumer confidence in France, as reported by INSEE, surprisingly increased in September to the highest level since October 2007. Above market expectations, as households appear to be more confident about their spending and saving power. This personally surprised me, as I've seen little sign of it, as wages remain generally flat and the government is still finding ways, sneaky ways in fact, to add to our tax bill. And it's just been reported by the Office of National Statistics that the British economy slowed in the 3 months to September, and it's at the lowest performance level since the third quarter of 2013. And British productivity continues to be a challenge to the government. On the currency markets, the euro is continuing to hold its drop against the dollar pretty well, so the ECB should be reasonably happy about that.
Well, Graham, what do you have for us today?
Well, just before we get off to our main story, Jane, I thought it would be useful to take an aside off our usual patch. We looked recently at the upcoming privatization of IPO of the Italian post office and noted that in fact most of their revenues were from financial services and things like insurance. And now, in a very similar announcement, the Japanese post office has which has a very similar profile, has announced that it's got a privatization IPO. So it's really not about letters anymore at the post office. On our main story, chocolate has largely missed the problems, or cocoa in fact, against you of chocolate, that most of the commodities are suffering. If we look at this chart, you can see from the graph that cocoa prices have been quite volatile in the past, but have been relatively stable for the last couple of years due to a growing demand and a fairly limited supply. We have a company called LKKO launching on the Brussels Extra Euronext today, whose principal subsidiary, Solia, is farming company growing cocoa in West Africa, but with a focus on ethical behavior.
And what makes this special?
The West African cocoa industry has had its image problems in the past, with issues particularly of child slave labour, abuses of the local population in their land, and abuses of the environment. This company has been established to demonstrate that you can produce cocoa commercially, raise yields obtained from the cocoa, and, most importantly, do it in an ethical fashion, protecting the environment, involving and protecting the local communities, providing proper employment, and the like.
Here, 3 years ago, in the very centre of Paris, 3 Parisian entrepreneurs, financiers and engineers, Catherine Wajman, Jacques-Antoine de Geffrier and Rémi Allemand, visionaries all, had a crazy idea. One fine morning, they decided to set their sights on a rather remote area of Ivory Coast to plant cocoa. The objective: to rehabilitate the area and develop a revolutionary project. The Solia project reinvents a production model by involving the local communities.
L'Afrique, d'une manière générale, est porteuse de tous les espoirs d'une croissance extraordinaire.
Et je dois dire qu'à ce jour, le travail effectué par toutes les équipes locales africaines et bien sûr françaises, l'encadrement étant français, nous ont permis de voir que finalement rien n'est impossible.
The Ivory Coast is the world's leading cocoa producer. To continue to provide for a worldwide market with an ever-growing chocolate consumption, it has been necessary to rethink production methods in order to cope with the looming shortage.
So, Alcoa, in the form of Celea, offers an interesting commercial investment with a strong ethical base.
Promising news for one company developing a drug to stop a terrible disease. We'll have the latest when Small Cap Nation continues.
Everyone works hard for a reason. Working together, we can help you prepare financially for when 2 becomes 3. Wells Fargo. Together we'll go far.
You want to be the best investor you can be. You want to cut through the noise of an overwhelming amount of analysis. You want the insights that will help you decide which ideas to execute and which to leave behind. You want your trades executed in 1 second or less, guaranteed and routed with institutional quality technology. Look no further. Open an account and find more of the expertise you need to be a better investor.
When I got the phone call that we had received the grant, I held my breath.
To have a program like this is a big reward.
Being a Chase Mission Main Street grant recipient is a game changer.
One of the biggest surprises in starting a small business is the number of hours we should work for the first 20 years.
One of the great things about this grant is that it is going to let us invest in some additional inventories.
It's going to allow this business to go to the next level.
Being a recipient of this grant, we can't be thankful enough.
It's a dream come true, and I'm still in awe.
In the biotech space, one pharmaceutical company is surging in share price. What's behind the strong advance for BioBlast Pharma?
Jane, the development stage biopharma company is blasting higher today. Its lead drug, Cabaletta, showed encouraging results in a mid-stage study. The announcement of positive interim results came from a phase 2 open-label clinical trial. Patients with OPMD took part in the study. And OPMD is short for oculopharyngeal muscular dystrophy. It's a rare progressive muscle wasting disease that's characterized by swallowing difficulties. It's an inherited disorder that can lead to dehydration, malnutrition, and aspiration of food into the lungs.
Clinical trials have a way of swaying investor and market opinion, and for good reason. What is the near-term outlook for BioBlast?
According to the study, which was conducted at 2 research centers in Jerusalem and Montreal, Cabaletta showed statistically significant improvements for patients in several tests. The drug also met its mark for safety and tolerability. The latest mid-stage study was meant to be a proof of concept in 74 patients, but given the positive results in the initial 25 patients, the enrollment of additional patients were halted. Now the Israeli company is seeking to fast-track its phase 3 study next year.
Shares of BioBlast are higher today, but what does the latest Cabaletta results mean for the drug developer?
BioBlast is optimistic in its outlook. It foresees bringing the treatment to market by 2017 and sees the potential for initial sales to rack up over $1 billion. Now, BioBlast has a market cap under the $100 million mark, but it is getting a boost on Tuesday. The company's clinical trial is aimed at treating a very rare disease, and as we all know too well, rare disorders do not always get the most attention. There's no approved treatment for OPMD, so the potential of Cabaletta, not just for that disease, but for other protein aggregation diseases, will be a key part of BioBlast's phase 3 study.
What should you be looking to buy, sell, or hold on this Tuesday? We'll have the list when Small Cap Nation comes right back.
Guys, I got the jerseys. El Nino. Aquí. Spray Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Don Ovan.
Think that's me?
You guy, it's $40. Can you cover that?
I'll send it to you right now. Done.
Okay, got it. So Hat-Trick Rick, he's the best player on our team. You get the ball, you give it to him.
Great. Rick.
On your phone, online, on the go, Wells Fargo makes it easy to get banking done.
All right, Don, you're on. Nope, just kidding.
Doug, you've been staring at that for a while, huh? Listen, TD Ameritrade has former floor traders to help walk you through that complex trade, so you'll be confident enough to do what you want. I'll pull up their number. Blammo. Let's get those guys on the horn. Ooh. Looks like it is time to upgrade your phone, Douglas.
For all the confidence you need, TD Ameritrade. You got this.
Let's go, Serena. Fight, fight. Come on, fight. Can't stop me now. Come on, Serena. Can't stop me now. You don't want me. Can't mess with me.
Back to the top. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoa, stop. Let's go back. 1, 2. Whoa, we're going to stop there. I bet we can do it even better.
It took tennis legend Serena Williams, fencing champion Tim Morehouse, and the world-famous Rockettes years to master their craft. But it took them only moments to master paying bills at Chase.com, depositing checks at Chase ATMs, and transferring funds on the mobile app. Technology designed for you, so you can easily master the way you bank.
In buy-sell-hold actions today, Crocs, the maker of footwear, was cut to neutral at Stern AG. Deckers Outdoors, another footwear company, makes Uggs boots, was also cut to neutral at Stern AG. Toy company Jakks Pacific raised to outperform at BMO. Knowles cut to underperform at FBR. Performance Food Group was raised to overweight at Barclays. And Myrna Therapeutics rated a new buy at Cantor Fitzgerald. Thanks for joining us on Small Cap Nation, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, check back for the latest news and research on smallcapnation.com, Facebook, and Twitter.